Welcome to YBC's Tiny Reps, aka Reparations Zoom Happy Hour.
Hosted by D. Zimmer, aka Sweet Baby D Bird, and Bree Cole, me. We are so thrilled to sit down virtually with some of our favorite creatives and keep it real, raise money for the Tiny Reps Fund, a sustaining grants fund to support our local Steamboat Springs BIPOC community.
Every third Thursday of the month, we Zoom it up starting at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
To sign up or join the convo, become a sustaining or one-time donor of the Tiny Reps Fund, head over to our website, youngbloodscollective.org/tinyreps.
Okay, welcome to Tiny Reps Happy Hour by Youngbloods Collective. This is our monthly happy hour every third Thursday. But yeah, so grab your little cocktails. The whole goal of these happy hours and like the overarching dream of what this is and why we're doing this is to create a sustaining pool of money that can serve as gap funding for BIPOC people in this community. So to help with, unforeseen bills that are, any bills or buying a business license or, just either helping getting some mental health services, doing something that it's a fund for people to tap into if they need it, where, other grants might not fulfill those services of being able to give them the $60 they need to get a permit to start their new business venture. So we want to be able to be supportive and be a resource in that way. So that's what the Tiny Reps Granting Fund is. Once we hit $5,000, we'll open it, and it will be on a referral program from Integrated Community, a local nonprofit here. And they'll be able to direct their clients to this monetary fund, and we can impact our community in a meaningful way that is direct to the people that need it. And all that said, we have with us, instead of hosting with me, is our guest today, Danielle Zimmer, aka Sweet Baby D, aka D Bird. And she has been just a creative collaborator for so many different events with Youngbloods, and this is one of them, of course. And it's named after one of our favorite heroes, Phoebe Robinson. And yeah, but without further ado, I'm going to introduce our esteemed guest, Danielle Zimmer, photography extraordinaire, best in the biz.
Hey everybody, happy Black History Month. What's up?
Yeah. So
thanks for having me. I would never miss a Tiny Reps happy hour because I am the host, but I love to switch it up and be a guest today. So this is really exciting. Looking forward to our convo today.
What are you sipping on there?
I made LaCroix, watermelon, and tequila.
Do you have a rim going? Salty rim?
I did a Himalayan salt rim.
Oh, you live, girl.
What about you?
I am doing a Pernod whiskey spritz.
Does it hit well?
It hits well. This is really this is my cocktail.
Cheers.
Cheers, friend. Cheers, Mary Scott.
Yeah, Mary.
Well, let's kick ourselves off here. I'm really excited to do this with you. We dream a lot. We make a lot of plans.
We do.
And I'm really excited for this one to be fleshing itself out, and for other people to be able to partake in this magic that is you and your wonderful brain. So we kind of got into having you as a guest because I'm I want to know everything about your skincare routine. And then we tangented, as we do, into how the fuck do you like Black Beauty in Steamboat?
Right. Okay.
Hey,
Let's get into it.
so do you want to just like, well, so we have a doc in the chat that Dee made for like all her like go-to stuff. So, you know, if you don't know what we're talking about, or like she references something, it's probably going to be in that doc.
And it can be a living doc, because I kind of started out small. So if we get into any topics or details, I can add to it later.
Love it. And also, you know, to be able to share resources with your friends of color who live here. You know, look out for them. These are like little things that you just kind of take for granted as well. I take for granted as a white person, you know,
Right, absolutely.
have all these products available. So do you want to kind of, we'll jump around a little bit.
Okay.
But let's start at like some lessons learned.
Right.
Hard lessons learned, things you had to learn the hard way, getting any kind of beauty services in this town, in Steamboat, Colorado.
Steamboat, Colorado. I moved here when I was like 22, and I had been straightening my hair for at least 15 years. And so the straightening of my hair process, what was that?
Chemically straightening?
Yes. So I would go to a Black lady barber, hairstylist, and get my hair like chemically straightened, just to, that's kind of what I thought was an adult look, growing up, is like to straighten your hair and to be able to curl it and put it in a ponytail, like do all the classic styles. So I always straightened my hair. Then moving up to Steamboat, I realized that I could keep straightening my hair, but I would have to drive to Denver to find someone that could do it. Up in Steamboat, I realized pretty quick that I was a minority trying to find people to do my hair, and a lot of people would be excited to give it a shot, and mistakes that I've learned were just well assuming, just well intended hairstylists that say like, oh yeah, like I have not that direct experience with doing Black hair, but I think I can figure it out and like would love to help you on this journey. And I think people are just like trying to help me and like be supportive. And I gave, I think, one girl a shot, and the chemical process that she used, like she did like some research on and thought that it would work, and like thought that she like knew what she was doing, and it just wasn't what I was used to. We tried, we gave it a good shot, but I just kind of was like, no, like I just don't want to put people in uncomfortable situations by like maybe like ruining my hair, and like me giving them a lot of faith in that process. So I learned the hard way of people want to help and blow out my hair and like do all these things, and it's a very unique texture pattern that I have, is like 4C. And so I just realized that I can't really risk that up here. So services with hair was short-lived. And then I started just going natural, because I thought that would just be an easy remedy of living up in the mountains and not having to have my hair worked on. I followed a lot of YouTube channels and kind of taught myself like the big chop, they call it. So you chop off like all your processed hair and just kind of start beginning stages, have an afro, and just kind of own your natural hair. That was a big moment, but I thought that I was wearing my hair pretty wild anyway. Like I was doing side ponies and like just crimping and like doing all these like big hairstyles. It's like, you know what? Like I think I obviously like can handle an afro, and like that would be most me. So I just kind of went for it, and it's been like 11 years now and figuring it out.
Angela Davis has rocked an afro for her entire life. Well, pretty much.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And it was like a huge advocate in the
Oh, I think you froze again. Hey, Norma. Bree, you frozen, girl?
Really
Oh gosh.
How are you doing, Dee? How's your day? What's new? What's hot? What's happening? Here's my cute.
Hey. The day was good. I have dance later tonight, so just kind of warming up, getting a little chat on. Had a good day. Bree, you're back.
I'm back. Sorry. I'm on, I think, hopefully the more stable internet
Okay.
now.
What were you saying about Viola
Fingers crossed.
Davis?
Angela Davis.
Oh.
Just fro stuff. Okay, so how did you learn like what your curl pattern was? How do you figure that out?
I think it was pretty noticeable early on in my life that I had curl pattern that goes like just super tight, wild, like if you have a strand of my hair, it's like this long. And then if you stretch it out, it's like this long. So like literally like the pattern is like a snowflake. Like you have no idea what it is. And so 4C is just like that kinky, wild, unpredictable pattern. So I've always had it. And I think probably just like one of the hairdressers like along the way was like, girl, you got some like 4C. So that's kind of what I've always known about my hair. So if you straighten it, it's like long, but it does not look it because of just like the tight curl pattern.
Amazing. Well, yeah. I love how you rock your hair all the time.
Thank you. I am kind of known for like around my house and like around like my friend Haley's house. I like will like kind of like play with my hair sometimes, and if like a little piece comes out, I'll like shed it onto the floor and just like leave it. And most people think it's like a spider. So they're like, like startled like all the time because like my little clumps of hair just looks so like a perfect spider. So everyone just calls them like my little D droppings. And just like, yep, those are like everywhere. But yeah, gotta embrace it.
Just a little piece of you.
Yeah.
I can't see. How do you see all the videos that are on? Look at this crew we got.
Yeah, girls.
Yeah. So you don't go to anyone for your hair here. You DIY it and you go elsewhere.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, I am part of a couple Facebook groups that I can jump in there and just be like, hey, I'm coming down from Steamboat. Like, who do you guys recommend to do hair? Like, and they'll like send a picture, kind of like reference. And a lot of people referred me to this woman based in Aurora. So I went down there earlier during quarantine at some point and got my hair done from her. And she went to the same college as I did. And it was like a nice little random meeting in Denver, and her salon was brand new. She just opened it before quarantine and just had a really great vibe. And we were talking all good things. And she did a great job. She referred me to like some products that I should use and just gave me a nice little trim and love a little like oil treatment. So that was nice. Yeah.
Nourished you.
Yeah.
And have you learned the hard way with any other like beauty services in Steamboat?
Oh, well, little D here one day decided to jump into the world of laser hair removal. And I went to a shop in
Mary's
town.
shaking her head.
Oh my gosh. So I started with like facials with this group in town because I had a trade. I do photo trade a lot. So I took their headshots for their team, and then they gave me money in their salon so I could get like facials and whatever treatments they offered. And one day I went in and they're like, we do like laser hair removal. And I was like, whoa, like that would be so cool to like do a trade with that. So they sent me in. I had wanted to do my underarm, and I went in and they like zapped my underarm just like as a test experiment, just to see if it was going to work out. And they did my underarm, and then they're like, okay, like another area is typically like the bikini area, like let's try that as well, because this worked. And then they tried my bikini area, or it was actually the reverse. They did my bikini area and that worked. And then they're like, okay, like let's do underarm. And underarm is very different skin, I guess. And right when they like started my underarm, I like felt this like extreme burn, and they kind of brushed it off like, okay, like I don't think that this is gonna work. And I was like, okay, like that like hurts so bad. And they're like, yeah, like putting ice on it, like kind of like sending me on my way, like, yeah, like I don't think it's gonna work out, like just let us know if anything like happens with your underarm. I was like, okay. And I like drive home and I'm like, what the heck happened? Like I had no clue what happened, but I looked at it when I got home and it looked like I was like bit by like a robot. Like it was like an imprint from the machine, and just raw, like completely burned my underarm. And they called me like by the time I got home, and they're like, this actually, like, we need to like talk to you about this. And I was like, oh, like, what do you think happened? And they're like, the machine backfired. We thought that we had a machine that should be able to detect on like darker skin, because typically what I found out later is laser hair removal is finding a black follicle of hair, and when your skin is already dark, it won't find that black follicle, so it just like burned my whole thing instead of just like the little follicle is supposed to. And so they said the machine backfired. A lot of people said they should never have just done laser hair removal on black skin. And so they like called me back into the office and like tried to like treat it, and then they sent me down to Denver to get like a specialist involved and like all this stuff. But they're just like hoping I didn't sue. So they're just like, whatever you need, like we will sponsor Dance Theater forever. Like, so now they're just like in my back pocket, like, remember that one time? And so I just learned the hard way. Like, I didn't know, like, that's their profession. Like, they shouldn't have done it, I guess. It was like a grand story. So that was kind of eye-opening of just of well-meaning people that like want to do something and should maybe do their research and really understand the differences between clients and races, and not putting themselves in that situation. But they still like stand by that it was like the machine that was the issue.
Oh, Dee.
Yeah. So I had like a summer of just raw armpit, and it was wild.
Oh,
it was rough.
That's a lot. And like, those are the tiniest of the reparations for what happened.
Yeah.
But like, way to parlay that into a dance theater sponsorship. Nice job.
Yeah. Every year I just be like, sup girls, hey.
Hey white women.
How much can I put you down for?
Good girl, Dee. I'm proud of you. Work it. Because I mean, that's like, you know, that's a form of racism. Like, that's ignorance. And like, if you're a professional, you should be absolutely fucking sure you're able to provide the service that you say you can provide, no matter the like, well, no, not no matter, but like understanding that there is a difference between white people and black people. Right?
Right.
I mean, but
yeah.
also
and I
like,
guess like,
we're not going back. Like, you can't unknow this shit. So do better.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm not in the world of cosmetology or anything, but yeah, I'm curious what they would do moving forward of like kind of communicating with different races of what treatments work and what don't. Like, I guess that's a little uncomfortable probably for people to be like, oh, it's not for Black people, but like, how do you have that discussion of like, our technology doesn't work for this like shade or
right? And I think that like,
texture.
even though that is inherently racist because everything about our lives is, it's like, okay, well now like you need to first of all disclose that this is like the limitations of the machine, if that's truly the case. And then, you know, like, I don't know, maybe try and offer something else that's more inclusive, or like, you know, have alternatives at the ready, knowing like, hey, we live in a society that like there's a variety of people that do come here, even though the majority is white and like live, but like there's a lot of people that live here, and like they should be able to have access to simple services, you know, where you'd have access in any larger city.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, look who it is.
Oh, yo, Alex.
So all of that learned and not repeated, but like handed down to everyone else that is of color in this community. What services and products are you able to use and either get here or go to Denver or buy online? Do you have like some tops that you're like, man, this is a game changer. Without this, my like beauty routine would be very different?
Well, luckily in Steamboat, I do like love to get my nails done. I get massage, I get facials. So I linked a couple of those in the document of the girl that I like to get facials from. And there's so many massage therapists that I like love in Steamboat. I just put like the one I'm like currently going to, but I've had an amazing experience with that. And for like skincare, I have just nerded out super hard in the past year on like K beauty, which is like Korean beauty. So Instagram is pretty much my tool for learning about skincare that I want to try. Steamboat, I don't really think carries too much. Walmart has like their online app that has a lot of like K beauty access to it that I'll use. But locally, I mean, I'm just now like getting into makeup, and I haven't been to Walmart or the shops recently to kind of like see what they're offering with different shades or whatnot. But typically I just use the internet or go to like Target for better selections.
So Target has a better selection, online Walmart app where you can like pick it up here or like get sent.
Yeah, or they'll deliver it.
Okay.
Or drop it off, yeah.
And so are there any like makeup brands, because like I know that was something we were doing a shoot a while ago with like Michonne Edwards, and you know, I pull out some stuff and I'm like, oh, this, and she's like, girl, no, like that does not show up on our fucking skin. Get out of here with your like alabaster makeup, you know? So is there like any brands like L'Oreal or Maybelline that like does anything that does show up on darker skin tones? Like lipstick? Vivi also was asking me earlier.
I know, Vivian just texted me what Walmart lipstick is good.
We need that hot tip.
I know. I feel like I'm like kind of lacking on the makeup world a little bit. Elf Cosmetics is pretty inclusive with their range of products that they offer. Elf stands for eyes, lips, face. So I really like a lot of their skin products. But
and they're pretty widely accessible.
I'm sure that, yeah, their price point's super cheap, like the cheapest. And I really like what they're doing with their products. So you can always find like something through them. I don't really wear lipstick too much. But I've been like messing around. Like if I did, like I had like, I think the last lipstick I bought was like a blue green color. Like it was
Yeah,
pretty
you
wacky.
like you went through a phase, which like I don't know if it was like a couple years ago or like months ago, where you were like doing like the dark lips, like the black and like the what didn't you have like a nice like deep purple?
Yes. I think like to the last Youngbloods party, I was rocking like a deep, I think
Mm.
from Rihanna, like her Fenty skin, or her like Savage Fenty, I forget what it's called, but Rihanna, I think I have a couple of her lipsticks and like eye palette shades. And yeah, the lipsticks I think were maybe like Kat Von D or something, but some good pigments out there for
Okay.
like some fun lipsticks. Yeah.
Into it. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions? And then we're gonna, let's see what time we got, like 30 minutes. Do you want to do Batch Nation talk and then rapid fire?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Let's dive into some Batch Nation. So this like always kind of catches me off guard about you, that you're just like deep fan. And like the Wanda Sykes stand up, she's like, we got to stop watching The Bachelor. It makes women look stupid. Like it's got to go. And I'm like, yes, like I totally agree. I hate how it portrays women. It's like so infuriating. On top of like, I don't have a stomach for reality TV. I think it's just, that's it. But I'm like, how the fuck do you do it? Like, what is it about this show that like gets at your deepest D soul?
Dude, it's wild. I've been watching The Bachelor since season 1.
Which
I
was
think I
like
was a freshman in high school.
time frame.
And yeah, my mom and I watched like season 1 together freshman year of high school. I remember like going to school and like everyone was like talking about this. It was like some like whack ass dude was The Bachelor. I think I barely watched, but the girl who won was the next Bachelorette. And so that kind of like got me more excited. Like I think The Bachelor is like, I don't really like care to get to know this dude, but like the women from the season, like this one girl, it was Trista Stutter, I want to say. And so one of like our high school math teachers, beloved teachers, knew the new Bachelorette. So we were like, what? Like that just like took it to the next level for everybody in high school. So we're like, our teacher knows the Bachelorette. She went to the wedding, the televised wedding, the most biggest Bachelor, like we were losing it. We're like, tell us everything. Like she was just iconic to us. So in that moment, like it just felt like pop culture was in my hands. So I was like, this is just so exciting. So from there, I don't think I watched like too many seasons of it, but that was just in the heart of like sleepovers, and you'd watch Third Wheel and Eliminate like at 2 a.m. And I just think I was really into like this like dating reality show, TV show. And so when The Bachelor came out, I was like, oh, this kind of seems a little more like mainstream, like my mom's watching it. And so I kind of was into it. And then I think out of like the 25 seasons, I maybe watched 8 seasons. But the last couple of years I've been watching, and podcasts have gotten super big. And there's probably over 200 podcasts that talk about The Bachelor every week. And so that's really like what's brought me back into the franchise, as they call it. Because all day I just work by myself or babysit. And so I put AirPods in and just like listen to like Bachelor podcasts that I think are fun. And so it just kind of has brought it to like the next level of just breaking down into who the contestants are and follower count, and like following like how racist pretty much the show is. Like there's like this Bachelor account that's called Bachelor Data, and it shows like representation of like who gets airtime and who's winning and like who's getting like followers, and just like showing kind of the ugly back end of like how wrong the show is, and just like how it centers white contestants and culture and how problematic the show is. But there's something about it that like literally everyone that I know, like I had a conversation with like one of my friends for 40 minutes about like The Bachelor. Like we're kind of like obsessed with it. And so this last season has been really wild because there's this like petition that was put up during the summer to get like a Black Bachelor, because there's never been a Black Bachelor in like 20 years. There's one woman, but never like a Black lead contestant. And so people are like, we've had it. We're starting batch diversity. We're starting like campaigns. So it's kind of been cool, just social justice of just seeing people coming together on social media and just like ripping their, like what views they want to see and like how they want the show to change. And some people are like, guys, like it's just a reality TV show. Like, why is everyone like expecting so much from this? But all the podcasts I listen to like have like so many different like views and takes, and they interview people from the show. And just this year just got like really exciting of just like, I started a fantasy league. So like it's embarrassing, but so it's just like a really wild year for it, and it's just silly and dumb, but it does provoke a lot of like conversation. And the last 2 weeks, like the host went on this like crazy, did anyone hear about this?
Well, Sarah just asked that in the messages. What's your hot take on Chris Harrison's?
Ooh, okay, so Chris Harrison is the host, and
Sarah's a fan.
Yes, I
Sarah
love
Collins.
Yeah, Sarah.
Mountain Gal.
The host.
Rainbow Locks.
What?
Is that Rainbow Locks?
Oh my gosh, yes. Remember our jump roping this summer?
That epic double dutching? That was like 5 summers ago.
Feels like such a long time ago.
Double dutching. Those were the days.
Those really were.
Okay, not to tangent us, because this is the dish. And also this is, you know, like, is this like where your activism is starting to show up? I mean, you have so many facets of like how you engage with the Black Lives Matter, and like, you know, I mean, just being a Black woman in this town, you know, like you're very active in like how you seek out support, and you know, but like, is this like, oh cool, like I can keep watching it because like it's changing? Or are you like, what do you want to see happen?
Can I intersect a really quick question on the back of that?
Do it.
Of course.
Because I didn't really, like, I've watched The Bachelor and Bachelorette on and off, but recently I have been watching the new season in the background and just catching up. And so there's this turn of the plantation photos and all of that, which has led to this Chris Harrison. And my initial thoughts were like, obviously we need to talk about what is acceptable in the parties and the photos and the celebrations in a way that people don't know. They don't know. And I don't know if Chris Harrison knows or what. It's interesting we're talking about The Bachelor, but it has been problematic from so many angles, but right now that's happening. So I just want to add that and see what you
Wasn't there a picture that surfaced of like her liking a friend who's wearing like Confederate flag dress or something like that as well? I mean,
I don't know. Was it that obvious?
Yeah.
Yeah. This girl who is a contestant has been pretty much exposed on social media for making, well, her hometown is a place somewhere in like Georgia, and it's a sundown town. So it has like pretty deep rooted racist Southern history. So people kind of just dug deep into where she was from at first. And then this one girl from her high school made this huge proclamation of, wow, it's really crazy to see this girl on The Bachelor. She made fun of me for dating Black guys in high school. And now she's on national television, like dating a Black guy. So then people just started like digging into her history and exposed a lot of problematic behavior for someone that's on the historic season of like the first Black Bachelor. So everyone's like, wow, like the vetting process of getting this girl on the show seems either like intentional or like 100% like a mistake in setting up the first Black Bachelor pretty rough. And so it's kind of turning out that he is going to pick this girl. So she hasn't really come out to talk about what all the internet is talking about her. And so the host went on Extra and talked to the first Black Bachelorette in an interview and pretty much defended this girl's problematic past and was like, yeah, like she was at a plantation party 3 years ago. Like the woke police is calling that inappropriate today, but 3 years ago, like what was the problem? And so the host just like went on this like 13-minute like unprovoked kind of like showing his true feelings of ignorance and racism and just defending this girl to the cows come home to another like Black woman who's like supposedly like his friend. And so everyone's like, holy shit, like Chris, like this was not what anyone like needed to hear. This is so extreme. Cancel this guy, like get him fired. And so there's like been this whole campaign for the last like 2 weeks, and like all the Black contestants are coming up with statements and just unionizing and supporting like BIPOC community because it's like the most diverse cast that they've had in the last couple of weeks or in the last couple of seasons. So it's just been interesting to see the community like shake up and kind of requesting accountability and talking about like accountability versus cancel culture. And this white man has never been checked in his privilege and completely just let it go and just called people out of woke police. And like, you could just like tell, like he was just like not here for the change in America that's kind of like happening right now. So it was just very fascinating. Yeah, it was very fascinating. And so my take is like, I would love for him to do like a YouTube series of him like hitting the road and like doing like a road trip to like all the blackest town, like maybe all the sundown towns, and just show his interview to like random, maybe public figures, maybe just like random people on the street, and be like, watch this interview of me talking to a Black woman, and like what do I need to know? Because like he needs to be checked pretty hard. And so everyone just kind of like, it's so like he could easily just like write an apology and like get off and go back to his everyday life. But I think some accountability and like some real change and like experiencing the Black culture would do him good.
Absolutely. And I mean, and there's like, you know, it's not cancel culture for cancel culture's sake. It's cancel culture until you fucking come correct, you know? Like, you don't get to just like give a half-assed apology and like, you know, call it good. You've got to atone. And tiny reparations, bitch, you know? Like, figure out a way that it's like resonates for you, you know? Hop on to the great unlearn
Right.
with Richard Cargill and like fucking work through it, you know? There's so many resources now, and there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. Everyone knows plantation weddings and like plantation themed anything is garbage. Like, we can't unknow this. Like, we need to move forward differently. So, you know, now that he has, you know, kind of made this apology, and also, so the first Black bachelorette is also the host of Higher Learning podcast. Excellent podcast if anyone like wants a cool, it reminds me of like a radio show, which I didn't know I missed and enjoyed. But it's really a great show. Dee, of course, turned me on to it. She gives me all my good taste. But like, and now he's taken a pause from the franchise. What do you think that's going to mean? Do you have dreams of like an interim host? What's your deep dish?
Yeah, I mean, supposedly he's just stepping aside for the last episode of the year, which is the reckoning of all this drama with the contestant. So I kind of wish like he was there to have to put his education that he's probably going through right now, like into check and show America, like, this is what I was a week ago. Like now I understand like these questions and like how to hold her feet to the flame and like understand what was wrong with her behavior. But he doesn't have to do that. So he just gets to sit back and feel bad and get bullied and all this stuff on social media and be the victim of this. So I ideally like would love the host of Higher Learning, who is Van Lathan with
Yes.
Rachel Lindsay. I would love for him to take over. I think he just became like a batchy. Like he's his first year like watching the show, and he's just so funny.
And he like roasts the poor Black bachelor, calls him a weenie.
Yeah, he's the best. I think he would be a great fresh take to it, or Rachel, but everyone's like, don't make Rachel do it. Like she's already been through enough. But yeah, I hope that they find someone who just is comfortable with like talking about race, because I think that's what they need. They don't need someone who's just figuring it out as well. Like they need someone who's strong and like confident in the conversation.
And also you need the people of color talking about racism, you know, like we don't need another white person talking about it or like making these empty apologies. Like
it's a little bit of the both though too, because I think the last couple weeks with this whole scandal with the Bachelor Nation, white people are so afraid to have the conversation and like to say something wrong, and so I think they're just put on the back burner so much that I don't think they have the opportunity to get in the conversation like they need to flex that muscle instead of just like listening and sharing. Like I think it's important for them to also use their voice. So it is up to a lot of Black people to like start the conversation because we have the experience, but I think it needs to be like kind of on both playing fields.
Absolutely. Okay. Van Lathan hosting The Bachelor, but Chris Harrison having to live work through his racism.
Yes.
Coached by Van Lathan. Not Van, you know, like just hot colding him.
Yeah, because I think like a whole show of like that would be so important right now, of just like putting white people in situations and being like, what the fuck did you just learn from this? You know, because I think a lot of people just read a book and like, I kind of get it. But if you're not immersed and you're not like up front to different people, then like it's just gonna not really be relevant. So I think it could be cool just to start a whole whole series of just white people, Black people just doing things together and like understanding each other.
Yeah. And I mean, and like meeting them where they're at, where I feel like, you know, we had this conversation tied up with Bridgerton of like, is there an obligation because you have such a vast platform to send like a different and more empowered message, even though, you know, this is supposed to be like a fun, fluffy, like void filler. But when you have that kind of access and this day and age, and this like clearly playing out, you know, there's nowhere to hide anymore. So like we can't like avoid this confrontation. So why don't we just like take it head on, work through it, you know, give everyone kind of this like realm of which they can work this out or understand it in terms that's relative to them, like a TV show.
Yeah.
And then, you know, move forward and have it be like Black Cinderella, you know, like that's what we're going for.
Yeah,
Where
absolutely.
it's like a non-issue.
Yeah, like media, I think, is like such an educational tool. Like most people consume that more than most other outlets, and so it's like if you don't see it there, like as frivolous as The Bachelor is, I think that has been such a platform for everyday viewership to understand the system that we're like living in like a visual representation of like whose storylines are getting centered, why, like just simple as that, and just like demand change. And that's kind of like what's happening right now, and I'm all about it. And like I'm in multiple like group chats with multiple different like white girls, and I'm like, this is amazing, like we're all talking about like noticing things like this, and like putting it in kind of context of real understandable change is through The Bachelor is like pretty crazy, but it's working and I'm into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw a little chat from Shireen. Yep. Now on Disney Plus. I'm sorry, I call it Black Cinderella, but also 97 Cinderella, the best year ever. And that's living proof, you know?
Yep. Brandy and Cinderella
was crown in the 97 jewel.
For sure.
Reverse that. Well, now that we're all fired up and we got let's see, we got minutes to spare. Let's see some rapid fire, and then
I got like 30 more minutes, so no rush.
Okay. Well, for our video recording.
Oh, right.
So we can kind of, we'll do some rapid fire, do like a wrap up, and okay. We're okay. All right. Sarah, just tell us when the recording needs to stop or we need to do like the wrap up. We record all of these for YouTube to view, not live too. So hence the timing, why I'm getting weird about it, trying to be organized. Okay, stalling. Rapid fire questions. How many plants do you have?
Oh my gosh, I just counted. 40. But about like 10 of those are like clippings or like propagating from other plants.
I feel like it counts. They're about to be plants.
Yeah, they're all in pots, so 40. It's crazy.
40.
And then Tom has about like 20 cactus.
Damn. I like how you guys separate what your plant domains are.
Yes.
Do you have a current favorite plant that you either have or like would love to have?
I haven't really been craving like a certain new plant, but my favorite are the rubber plants, I think. And the snake plants are really fun. And yeah, I would say probably rubber. And then like the one I'm like very I want to see more from is my ZZ plant. It's just such a small growth, and I am shocked by that.
Our ZZ plant just like dead upon arrival. Looks so good, and then like just has been like slowly dying ever since.
Ooh, I'll send you a picture of mine.
I can't tell, but
I will send you a picture of mine. I'm curious, like if mine started out small or what.
You said root rot. It was like too wet at I think he got it at City Market or Walmart or something. Yeah, that's what it is. The Raven ZZ is what we got. And it's like, yeah, it's like dead to the world.
Unsalvageable?
I think so. We're just trying to wait it out, but I think it's not looking good for our black ZZ.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Such a cool plant.
Yeah.
THC, CBD, both.
Ooh, I start the day with CBD, and then end the day all day THC with my new beautiful like little crystal pipe that I'm obsessed with.
And that's in your little one sheet?
Yeah.
Crystal pipe?
I did link it. She cute.
I mean, I guess that answers my next question, which was pipe, joint, or bong.
Dude, I'm still trying to learn how to roll a joint. That would be, I think, like my preference, because I've seen these little baby joints that are sold and they're like just so little, and I would love to be able to make my own. So someday I need to learn how to roll a joint. But
I think Mary Scott might be able to help you.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little seminar upcoming.
Virtual sem?
Joint rolling.
have you made a mini?
A mini joint?
Yeah.
My mom was the princess of the 70s, and I know how to roll all the joints.
Yes. Okay, can't wait.
So maybe Susie Jackson can give you the woman,
We'll get
who
Tara
taught me
a
to roll a
joint.
joint when I was 17.
Damn.
Responsibly.
CQ.
Responsibly. Yeah. She's got all the styles. Yeah.
Yes.
All the goods. Oh my God. Sarah says farmers market craft joint rolling skills. There's our next community event booth.
Virtual farmers market.
And
I love
Alex
it.
says his dad rolls his.
Oh, lucky.
Is your dad
You.
single?
Candles
mom
or
is-
incense? Oh, what, Mary?
I said, is your dad single? My mom is.
Oh, hey, I had not thought about that pairing.
That's good. That's good.
All right, TBD, blind date, virtual internet.
Things we have in common.
What's like your home scent right now, Dee? What are you like, candles or incense? What's your like scent profile?
I've been on a candle vibe right now. I had like a basic candle from Bath and Body Works burning right now. It's like a blue volcano like
Ooh.
vibe, I think. But I was just listening to a podcast by the owner of Boy Smells Candle. Do you guys know that? And I was listening to this guy talk, and he was blowing my mind. Like, he burns like a couple candles at once and like creates a whole like scent profile in his house. And he was just saying that he's all about like the feminine and masculine combined. Oh, Alex, are you bringing a boy's candle?
No, I just burned I had 4 of them, and I just burned all of them and kind of tossed them over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime I can find them, I love them.
I really want to get a couple of those. So I have like a pretty good stash of candles at the moment. So after listening to this podcast, it's like, I'm going to burn these and then like get on this like Boy Smells. They have a collab with Casey Musgraves called Slow Burn. That sounds really good. And they said Kush, a lot of like Kush candles. I was like, okay, I want these candles.
Weed smelling candles?
I don't know. Do you have that one, Alex? Kush?
That's the one that I burned a good bit of. I had like 2 Kush, and then I can't remember what the other 2 were. They're like a patchouli or oak type of thing. But the Kush ones were really good. I mean, it didn't smell like Kush, but like, Kush.
Can we get a replay of that?
Kush.
Not like Kush, like Kush. You look great. What are you sipping on, my friend?
More whiskey,
Mm,
as always.
looking great. What about like scents for self and body?
I just got this like really nice shea butter lotion. I think it's from Palmer's, and it smells like heaven. It smells like cookies or something. It's so good. So that's been like my body aroma.
So like on like sweet sugar cookies?
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. It's like it's like chocolatey. Like it's just amazing.
Chocolatey cookie sensation.
Yeah, it's been a treat.
Does
So
Tom have a hard time not eating you, biting you?
I said, Tom, can you get a load of this? Yeah, every time I put it on, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Egan would never leave you alone. Bath bomb or bubs?
Bath bombs, baby, baby.
Baby, baby. What is your dream dinner date with 1 to 3 people, the place, and what you would eat? Alive or dead?
3 people: Phoebe, Lynn, Robinson.
Obama Robinson.
Obama Robinson. And oh my gosh. This is like such a good question. We would be eating sushi for sure. Ooh. I think I'd love to be in like an outside patio upper deck in like Tulum, Mexico with Phoebes, let's say Issa Rae, and
I know you're not going to leave out the queen.
Lizzo.
It's like I can't let the 3 not be Liz.
Yeah, that's my dream team right there.
What?
Did you watch the 2021 special or like the 2020 special with Phoebe?
Dearly Departed.
Yeah. Or
yes.
Yearly Departed.
Incredible.
Like yearly Departed.
Loved it.
Chef's
right away. Oh yeah.
Okay, 5 minutes wrap up. Okay, we can continue with some rapid fire after we do our wrapper up spiel.
Okay.
And then you just tell us when you got to go.
Okay.
Well, sweet baby D-Bird, this has been amazing to have you as a guest. And I could just keep doing this with you for hours and hours. But thank you so much. And thank you for being such an integral part of Youngbloods and like its culture and our beautiful historian and documenting this like incredible nonprofit journey we've all had. And then also just like coming strong with like Double Dutch and all of your beautiful photos and fucking tiny reps, you know?
Man, I know we've had a good run, Brie. I feel like I'm just so grateful for you inviting me into the group many years ago, and just to see where we are now. It's just been really fun to get to be like best friends with you, and you always help me just with all my like Black love. I feel like you're just such like a champion of that, so that's really helped me in my growing as myself. So love you.
Love you. Well, thank you for all joining us in this Tiny Reps happy hour. This has been our most attended, and we're so happy to have each and every one of you interact with this organization in your own way. And we hope that that continues to grow as we foster this kind of next chapter of what Youngbloods is and what we want to grow Tiny Reps and our like anti-racist support to be, and especially in this community, and how that affects all of us so much. And you know, just building this community and letting everyone know that like there is a space for creativity, there's a space for activism, and we are champions of change and evolution and new ways of doing things. So if you have something to contribute, we are looking for board members, and you can be an at-large board member. It's just any way you can show up to this organization, we would love to have you. And we can't wait till the next Tiny Reps. And yeah, youngbloodcollective.org/tinyreps. You can catch up with all the info, sign up for the recurring 1865 recurring sustaining donation to the Tiny Reps Grant Fund, which will help BIPOC people in the Yampa Valley with, gap funding type of stuff. So we'll look forward to seeing y'all next week, or next month rather.
Thank you so much for joining us for our virtual Tiny Reps Happy Hour.
If you feel compelled, please send some monetary praise to our guest. Their Venmo is in the chat.
If you have any suggestions for future guests, email or DM us, info@youngbloodcollective.org or @youngbloodcollective on Insta.
We look forward to chatting with y'all to talk creativity intersecting with the BLM movement.
Speak up, show up, and let's turn the tides, y'all.
Pew, pew!